so much. I appreciate it, Hunter. All right, we are Facebook Live for our work session that is in preparation for our recess meeting of July the 21st. This coming Tuesday. So I will call the work session to order, and our first little order of business here is a presentation by Matt Dowell of the Golden Triangle Regional Airport. And he's going to give us, it's in your packet, so that information is available. I think we've talked about it or alluded to it, but he's going to give us a presentation and hopefully a little bit of an update on the upcoming ribbon cutting. How about that?
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate y'all taking the time. Obviously with me, Frank Childs, y'all's representative on our authority board, John Kroll, our attorney, Merrill with the link. So yeah, surrounded by...
Time out. The attorney is here? Why is the attorney here?
So he helps us draft all of our resolutions, right? So
okay, all right.
So yeah, so
just checking.
Thank you. Yes, so been very supportive. Thankfully, we have him as the expertise on the legal side when we ask for resolutions. But I did want to give you all an update. Obviously, we've had a year of service with American Airlines. Really excited about that. One of the other great things I wanted to mention was that we had purchased the land that y'all supported us for. So the last time I was here, 109 acres of land for development sites. We were able to actually purchase that with your support. So very thankful for that. Couldn't have happened without that quick support to be able to compete with the private sector to have that land acquired. Since that time, obviously air service has been going on, and we've seen a need for support of air service basically for their second year due to the spike in fuel cost. So what we're asking for today, and part of your resolution and support letters, is to help us secure our agreement for the second year of service with American Airlines. They've been right around 70% their first year of service. We've seen year-over-year growth the second year, so in May and June have been in the 80%, so that's really good. But we are asking for 60%, which is a participation of 20% of the $300,000 that we're trying to raise to secure American Airlines service for the second year. And if they need the funds, just like the first year, we had right around $1.25 million that they could use as they were getting established. This is for the second year establishment period.
And we have seen, well, give us the trend line, please, for their success rate, let's say, since they initiated the service. Sure.
So they started back in May. They were right around 60%. Started getting into 70% later in the year for 26, and then this summer is really when we've started seeing them get up to the 80% month-over-month growth, so 10% higher than last year.
Okay, and what's the break even?
So break even is going to be in the higher 80 percentile is normally what we see, and right now they're also adjusting the prices as we've seen fuel costs, especially aviation fuel, has doubled. They pre-sell their tickets, so they are having to make up some ground there by raising fares when those prices go up, but it's an adjustment period right now.
Okay, and so this is a May to May to May?
Correct, if we can, yes,
okay.
For their second year of service.
And do we anticipate any reason for us to be supportive of a third year?
You know, normally as far as air service development goes, it's a 2-year process. It's sort of the maximum that we're allowed to give waivers. And after that, it's normally sink or swim and up to them to break even on their own.
Okay, I would have expected that. I didn't know if there was any language that said that specifically.
Yeah, it's really DOT. It's what we're allowed to do as an airport to, right now, we've waived fees, for example. That's what we can do. We can help market the service. And really, that's just for the first 2 years of getting established. And that's
okay.
the DOT's.
And I think you've come to, we're the last group you've been able to come to, because
Yeah, obviously we would come first. It really depends on everyone's schedule, right?
Sure.
So, yeah, we've been trying to get on everyone's calendar, so that's correct. Everyone else is supported up to this point.
Good to know. Okay, any questions of Matt? Because I still want you to tell us about your ribbon cutting, but
sure.
Any questions regarding the additional funding support? No? Okay. All right, would you tell us about your ribbon cutting and your jetway and all that sort of business?
Thank you. Yes, so we've been trying to expand the terminal to meet some of the demands, the growth. We've been around 50 years, so obviously when the terminal was first created, we didn't have larger jets, we didn't have quite as many passengers as that were coming. since we've been growing with additional air service and Delta has been growing with us over the years, there was a need to be able to offer additional amenities, more space for everyone to accommodate the larger aircraft. So we've been able to add over 8,000 square feet to the terminal. We have more hold room space, we have a jet bridge, we have 2 escalators, we have a new elevator. So we're excited on the 24th to invite all of y'all to come to the ribbon cutting to see these great facilities. We're excited for passengers to start using them and the community to see what GTR has out at the airport that people get to use. So,
How much has been the investment over the last 10 years or so?
you know, that's a really good question. So that particular project was a $12 million project just for adding the jet bridge, the escalators, elevator, and then adding room on the second floor. This year we're adding another $10 million worth of improvements on all kinds of different things, from the fuel farm to our FBO to our pavement to our lights. So a lot of it's spread out, but in the terminal specifically, it's finishing that $12 million project.
Yeah. And the one that was named for
Yes, Stuart Baines.
Yes,
That's right.
That was several years ago. That was a large project.
It was.
as well,
That's
right?
about a $6 million.
Yeah.
Correct.
So y'all have been very steady in getting good grants
We
for the
have.
airport. So
That's
we've been
right.
very fortunate. In fact, we are the busiest.
Third busiest in the
small
state.
commercial. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
right. Yeah. So you got Jackson, Gulfport, and then
Yeah.
GTR's third busiest in the state.
And I think that speaks very highly of the region, and also of obviously your stewardship and Mike's as well
That's
over
right.
the years.
We've
So,
got a great team, great board, and yes,
Yeah.
we continue to invest where, you know, to meet that demand of a growing area.
yeah. And is there a further expansion, runway expansion in your master plan, shall we say?
So that's one of the things we're looking at, is to do another master plan now that we've acquired land. We have started to see the boundaries of the airport as we get aluminum plant on one side, steel plant on the other, to try to do another master plan. We do have room for another runway, for example.
Parallel or cross?
This is going to be a parallel.
Parallel, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Crosswind is what we had before we did some land swapping and stuff, but it allows for more maintenance to be done while continuing to keep the airport open.
Yeah,
So it's-
well,
yeah.
north-south's a better choice anyway, so.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, any questions? My aviator friend over here, any questions?
No, that's-
Is that jet bridge going to be available for something other than the Delta American flights? For example, an athletic team that comes in from, so it'll be still available for those?
Yeah, so it all depends on timing, right?
Yeah.
So it's really gonna be first come, first
Sure.
served with those. But yeah, we're hoping that American, Delta, and then some sports teams, if they need it, can actually use it as well.
Okay, well, that'd be good, it'll make a good first impression.
That's right, exactly.
Okay, all
We're
right,
excited.
cool. Anything, anybody? Well, that was painless, thank you, Matt.
Thank you so
Appreciate you being
much.
here,
Thank
guys,
you for the time.
appreciate what you do to support the airport, so.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, we will move to our agenda, and we have 2 sets of minutes. Mr. Huskisson, Ms. McCormick, you're all good with those? Henry, you good? We're letting you rule this roost, so, okay, consent for those 2? All right, I've got, I know, 4 employee introductions that I will make. Anybody have anything they want highlighted on the, under comments for any reason? None? Okay. And we'll see what happens between now and Tuesday night. There may be other things to talk about. Public appearances, we have a gentleman who is wanting to, Mr. Banks, Jermaine Banks, has a request for a discussion around transparency, around crypto Bitcoin mining, and potential investors and impact. So that topic will be probably with us for a bit yet. Mr. Pocups, or Alderman Pocup, we'll do it formally like that. His town hall was very interesting. And I think you had a good number of comments on that. And
Yeah.
Chris and Stephen Kappelman made great presentations.
Fantastic. It was great.
We need to go on a road show with that presentation in other locations. You have to figure out another audience to go to. Then public hearings, we have a second public hearing on amending the rental housing section. I have not heard from anybody particularly about it. Has anybody else around the table heard from anybody about it?
Airbnb emailed me.
Well,
and wanted to
yes,
see if
they
they
did.
could help with drafting our.
Yes, we did have but local.
No.
Let's put it
No.
local, or investors or that sort of
No.
thing. Okay. Well, this will be our second public hearing and possible consideration. I know, and I thought the vice mayor was going to be here. I know that he had asked about increasing the rates, and so I don't want to ignore that request, but I do want to see, does anybody have a desire to go differently in terms of the numbers? Right now it's $15 registration, and that's annual. So I thought that was a fairly reasonable way to just set up a registry.
For what we're doing.
For what
I think
we're
it's
doing.
appropriate.
Yeah, okay, so any feelings otherwise? Because I can draft something that gives an alternative. You want something with a higher rate? All right, do you want me to take what he had sent me about an opportunity? All right, we can do that. Let me make myself a note here. Okay. Let's see, for STR. Okay, got it. And then a public hearing for amending several sections of the UDC. Daniel, would you come provide your
Sure.
summary a little bit, please, sir?
This is kind of one of the standard updates that we do from time to time. This particular one has 20 proposed amendments in 4 different categories. There's 4 corrective changes. This is just correcting stuff that's already in the code. There are 12 updates to existing requirements. Some of the stuff's pretty minor stuff, like adding a graphic kind of explaining fence height, fence location, that sort of thing. And then updating the technical codes, there's only one of those, and that's just changing the permit period for all permits to 1 year, instead of having like different types of permits at different expiration dates.
Okay.
And then 3 new requirements, one relating to lighting in the form-based district on the sidewalk, just making sure new buildings that are commercial have some sort of light source going down on the sidewalk to make it a little brighter. Establishing underground utility requirements for all new developments, any development that triggers site plan approval, and then adding standards for the temporary 5G antennas that come with these festivals.
Right.
Instead of doing the cows like they've done in the past, the new thing is to put a temporary 5G thing on a pole that they take down at the end of the event.
Okay, all right. Any questions about any of that? This will be the first one.
Yes.
So we'll have a second one, and we may get some feedback, particularly on the underground electrical. So, all right, thank you, sir. And then next, the underboard business is the resolution to extend the additional funding to GTR for the air service for the $60,000 mark, and that would be in the next year's budget. So, can we get consent on that one? You gonna wait? All right, okay, well, I tried. All right. Under airport, we have renewing the general liability and hangar keepers coverage for the airport, consent for that one. Okay, and then 5 board members, they're gonna go down to Biloxi. I believe Alderman Brooks is gonna go down there with them.
I'm gonna go down there with them.
Okay, good, keep straight, consent for that one, travel for those guys. And then the final plat approval, Daniel, would you?
Yeah, this is just a
possibly
minor-
Edward, share some of that, so.
Just a minor subdivision. It's taking, I think it's lot 3 of the North Star development and then carving out a little section for a
Lift station.
lift station.
Yeah, it's the Josie Creek lift station.
Yeah,
that-
that's the lift station plus the associated easements to access it. Work on it.
Right, and that's much better for us just from that service is the North Star Park. And you'll see us picking up a good piece of the tab associated with that lift station, so.
And this is just
I'm
the
sorry?
rehab, we're rehabbing that lift station, just
No, we're
moving
just
it.
moving it.
Just moving it.
Oh, no, no,
Okay.
we're rehabbing as well. We're upsizing it and rehabbing. What else, Edward?
That's primarily it, but upsizing it for more capacity
Right.
and then moving it to that'd be east about 500 feet or so onto the.
To the east of where it's currently located, to the westernmost side of the
park.
North Star Park.
Right.
So, and Merrill, that all fits with everything that works for the link and
Correct. Edward.
managing all of that.
Correct, yes. Edward had sent us all the layout and the proposed easements, and they're just temporary until we were to locate a tenant on that site, and then we would move that easement so that they could access it another way.
Yep. And Osita's on board with it as well, so. Can we consent for that one? All right, thank you. Engineering, Chris, you have, I have wanted you to share with the board this particular program because I don't think we've ever heard of it before, so.
It's a new one. It's been out a few years. Nobody in the state of Mississippi has ever gotten one of these grants, so we
You know
are.
if they've applied for it and just been denied, or?
I don't know as far
Yeah.
as that goes. I just know nobody's been successful, or
Okay.
I don't know my portion of it. So this is the Advanced Transportation Technology and Innovation Grant. So what this is looking at is trying to get folks to be proactive on putting new technology into your transportation system. We've talked to MSU with the smart bus system and Jeremiah, And then also with game day traffic, what we're looking at doing is trying to, so right now the game plan is to update our signals as we can afford.
I
just to
can
keep
feel
each
Mike
year.
smiling over here.
So instead of that, what this would be able to do is the technology that we're putting on 182, we'd be able to use that same technology on all our major corridors at one time. So we'll be able to upgrade it at once. And then this will be where we'll be able to monitor everything from a central location. And then instead of getting random calls of, hey, this light didn't work or this didn't happen, we'd have a report every morning. Hey, this many people got left on red here. This is what happened. And then also with this AI technology. So currently, whenever you come up with timings for an intersection, you have to pay an engineering firm. They look at about 2 days worth of data and make decisions. This would be able to keep up with counts constantly, and then be able to look at trends over time and be able to have timings for game day weekend, timings for this. And so be able to maybe flip those switches, and then also you'd be able to keep up with your pedestrians, your cyclists. So pretty much you'd be collecting data constantly for all of your transportation is what it would be for.
Pesky AI stuff.
And so also with MSU, they were wanting to look at dynamic parking or seeing some things, so we're gonna try to see what we can fold into the grant for it. And then also, like I said, the transportation portion and also the fire piece for our preemption as well. So trying to look at response times and then have it holistically looked at.
Have we put a number to this, or
So
what's the
to do
possibility?
all of our signals, and have some money for that, and look at fiber, it'd probably be 5 to 6 million is what they'll usually do grant wise. So what we were looking at is, kind of doing the ones that we would be doing for the next 3 years and using that money out of bond funds and use it for a match for us. Since we have to really apply really quick, and then hopefully the MSU piece of that as well would pull down some of it. But that's kind of what we were looking at to try to be able to jump. It's due July 27th,
Ooh.
so right after this.
Next week.
So we just learned about it last week. We've talked to MDOT to kind of let them know where we're going, because Highway 12 is their corridor. And so kind of looking at that, they're all for new technology and investment, into their corridor as well. But we'll have to do some coordination for there.
Oh, sister, I see your hand.
Yeah, so essentially what you're talking about is flipping the bond funds that you had designated for signalization improvements on Highway 12 and some other spaces to the match for this grant, which would allow you to cover a much larger area. The other thing is, at some point, are we going to have an in-house traffic? Are we pointed toward having an in-house traffic analyst position, or fold that into somebody else's job?
We looked at that or trying to figure out how we do, because when we get done with it, we'll have a very top-notch system, but you gotta be able to run it. Some places, Auburn outsources it, and so what they actually do is they have a company that does that constantly. So there's somebody that's watching it all the time. So that runs about $50,000 to $70,000 a year for that portion of it to actually operate it. Of course, that doesn't replace boots on the ground.
Right.
So we still need to have signal techs and having those type pieces. But that would be an option, or hiring somebody in-house. Kind of depends on which way
Okay.
you want to go. But pretty much we have options as far as once we have the whole system to be able to do it. But the operations, we do need to be thinking about how we need to handle that whenever we get there.
Because that's one of those things that it's easy to get swept up into the initial capital improvements
If
cost,
you
but
can't run it, it doesn't do you
yeah,
any
it doesn't,
good
yeah.
as far as that
anything
goes.
else that we would need to be thinking about in terms of operations?
That's really the main thing, but then also, and so the new technology, give you an example, the radar, so everything whenever you go to an intersection right now, if you look up at the corner, the little white boxes, that's radar detection. What we're looking at going to is cameras. Radar is about $50,000 an intersection. Cameras about $15,000 an intersection. So what I'm saying is it's not that we are doing a lot of new technology. The technology has come down in price, so we're not making it where the maintenance side or the replacement.
Okay.
But it is like a computer. You get
Every
5
so
to 10
often.
years out of it. You're going to have to be upgrading.
Sure.
That $5 to $6 million also includes, it's not all just the technology portion. A lot of our intersections don't have PED facilities, and so that includes concrete work to be able to do our PEDs as well. So what I'm saying is it's not, I've got to do $6 million worth of work every 10 years. It's been much lower than that. Once we have our
Yep.
pedestrian ramps aren't going to go away. They'll
Yep.
be fine from here on out. So it's kind of getting everything up to there, but we do need to kind of have a budget line item to be up to as we go.
Is that gonna cut Jason or the electric division out of the loop of having to be participating in the
Well, it should make
Signalization?
Jason's job easier as far as being reactive right now and not knowing about it. And so then also trying to figure out how to help on that piece of it. But it does not replace, having electrical, having people to be able to fix things as they break.
Okay, all right, just curious if we were cutting them out of the loop for some, because I
This
think
is-
he'd be delighted to be cut out of
I
that
think he
loop.
would.
Hopefully this, like I said, instead of being reactive and something happened, we'll be able to know about it and kind of schedule it better.
Alderman Vaughn?
If we do consider this, I wish we not outsource, we can find some way in the house to take care of instead of outsourcing.
And that was what I was gonna ask. If that program has AI built into it, would there even be a need to outsource any of that?
So it's like everything else, the AI pieces and parts of it are going through, but we're only, say right now it's me and Steven, so you got 2 people, and I'm sure y'all get calls and you pass them on to us all
No,
the
I
time.
pass them to Mike Brooks. I know my role.
She does.
I do.
So that portion of it, it is, so we'll be able to do some of it, but having somebody that can go and do those type of things. And then the $50,000, what a signal technician or somebody that does that. So Ridgeland has it in-house, so they do that completely in-house, and they have one man that does nothing but signals. But Ridgeland, the amount of traffic that comes through
Lot
is
more.
astronomical.
Correct.
So that would be perfectly fine to figure out, but once you figure out the cost of a salary, then you figure out PERS, all our other pieces and parts. We need to run all those numbers and see what makes sense to
And
do
if,
it.
and if there's something else that person could be doing, because
And
it's
that's-
probably not a full-time position.
And we've talked internally about trying to see about, so Steven as the example, he's gone to the Temple classes to work on that one, so you see that we've tried to help supplement Jason. Jason's trying to keep all the power on across all the town as well, so we've tried to be more independent and try to help out Jason and not put it all on Jason's shoulders with everything that he's got to do as well, so, but we definitely can look and figure out ways to do that and have the options and weigh them.
Great. Can we do consent for that one?
Consent.
All right,
The
awesome.
clock ticking.
It
Well,
is.
we gotta win
It
the
is.
grant first, so.
Go start
Okay.
writing.
Then consideration of accepting the public infrastructure of Country Club Estates, that has passed muster all the way around, so we can consent that one, okay? And then last but not least, the overlaying of the asphalt term contract with Falcon, so consent for that one?
That's for Cornerstone. It
That's-
says walking
that's for the
trail.
Walking trail,
Cornerstone.
Yeah. All right, claims docket, and then financials, anything, Mr. Corbin, that we need to know specifically about the
Consent.
financials? Consent for that, okay. And then privilege licenses, eventually I'll get used to that. Fiscal year audit, anything you want to share about the audit, either Joanna or Alderman Sistrom or Webb?
No findings, pretty run-of-the-mill, slight increase in fund balance.
Okay. All right, well, good, and have you talked to them about bringing the contract back for the next?
I've started the conversation, but I do not have,
Okay.
an engagement letter yet.
All right, well, no findings is great. Consent for that one. All right, thank you. Fire department, low quote for their laundry equipment, so I know y'all are excited about that. Okay, consent for that one, okay?
So lest anybody thinks this is a super expensive washer dryer,
Yeah,
which it is
it's not a
a
major-
super, it's not something I'd have in my house. It's
Yeah.
used for their turnout gear.
You might want it in your house.
No, I
Forever
probably
and ever?
don't. So, but
Okay,
it's for their
yes.
turnout gear. So
Very, very specialized, so, okay. All right, let's see, we had Nav, you're up there?
Yes, ma'am.
We have an inventory control tech, that's a replacement position.
That is, yes, ma'am.
And then, okay, consent for that one, and then the sanitation worker replacement also,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? And then the new one is the landscape architect position within the engineering department, and Mr. Williams, I had asked that you kind of give the board an overview of your vision, okay? So now you're on the hook.
Okay, thank you.
So what this would be doing is taking our engineering 3 position that Stephen Kappelman was in previous, now that he's bumped up to associate city engineer. This will be changing that position over to a landscape architecture portion of it. What we're looking at is we do tons of work with the parks department. That would be one piece of it as far as that goes. I feel like we're really becoming known for our parks and our public spaces. So to continue that work, this allow us to where we'd be able to do more of that design in-house on that. And then also as far as streetscape design, Main Street was designed by a landscape architect, those pieces and parts. Those type side we're in a city street business instead of a highway business, so a landscape architect has a different skill set than engineers does. So this will complement what we've got doing and then kind of broaden what we'll be able to do as a department. And then also we're looking for somebody with planning background as well. And so what we want to do is we've got a comprehensive plan that needs to come up before too long. And what we see as the engineering department is we want to look at that, including transportation, including utilities, as well as the zoning. So it is a truly comprehensive plan, and that would be that piece of it as well.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
And in my experience, it is not atypical to have a landscape architecture working in engineering firms.
No, it is not. So Ridgeland, for an example, their public works department head is actually a landscape architect. They actually have about 3, I think, on staff in the different departments on that one. So they are, on that piece of it is standard on those.
So you're not an urban pioneer here with
No,
this?
it's not. But we're not on that piece on that one. But we felt like we've got the heavy technical side. This will be able to soften us up a little bit better, and then be able to kind of look holistically with all our different planning pieces out. So hopefully to look at the vision in the future, and then also to go on a springboard with what we've done on the public parks piece and keep those going even better than we've got, and try to do our new parks that we want to do as well. Try to have that.
Gives Daniel a little relief too, because I think you've been pulling on Daniel for some of his landscape architect skills.
He has, so with our last grant that we did with the roundabout, all of those conceptual designs, Daniel jumped in and helped us out on that one. If you notice the small beds around town with our bump outs that we've done for safety, Daniel's helped us with those. We're about to redo the Hollywood roundabout in-house with Chris Mileage Crews are helping us on the planning. Daniel did the planning plan for us. So those type things. So he's been doing a lot of double duty, triple duty for us.
Okay,
So
cool.
I'm gonna try to be able to repay the flavor as well to help them out.
Consent for that one? All right, wonderful, thank you. And in parks, we have, I'm so excited, we've got the skate park. So this is the design build contract, so consent for that one? Can't wait for that. And that will be done, do you think by the end of the year still?
Yes, so we're looking at waiting for the students to come back in for the public input sessions. So those will probably be September, October-ish on there. They're booked up on construction right now, and they said that they didn't want to be in Mississippi in July even if they weren't. So they said they'd come to us during the winter whenever everything's too frozen north of it. I think they're in Massachusetts right now. So
Sounds
they
like
said,
a wise group of people.
So they said they've got us on the books for probably November, December, January-ish, depending on what we get done.
Okay, great, thank you. Sanitation department, finally, guys, I believe we're ready to advertise for bids for the Class 1 rubbish site for closure. So that John Cunningham has prepared that, and we can move forward with that one. So we will hopefully get that one resolved and off of our plate here in the next 12 to 18 months. So consent for that one?
Can I ask you a question? Do we have any idea what that is gonna cost? Have they given us a more
Somewhere in
concrete
the
number?
1.5, no, somewhere in the 1.5, see what the bids are,
Okay.
$1.5 to $2 million range is my
Okay.
guess. So,
Okay.
and
And
we do
it's
share that with the
shared.
counties,
Okay.
yeah.
We should have up that much money.
We
In
have-
that
we already
account,
do.
we do.
We have
For
our
our-
share.
for our
We have our
portion.
share set aside.
Utilities, Edward, we have accepting the low bid for the water well. You want to give a little bit of
Sure.
background? And
This is the well number 9, which, if y'all remember, was outlined in our overall evaluation of the need for a new well. And then we have obviously another one coming up another 10 years from now. So this will set us up for a lot of growth and planning. Y'all remember, this is the second time we bid it. The first time we bid it, the bids came back around $4.2 million. We went and modified some changes to the plans and also gave a little bit more flexibility on the construction timeline. And so we got actually more bids this time, and they were much more favorable from a cost standpoint. So it is a little bit more than we initially anticipated, but I think that's the reality that we're now living in with the cost of drilling wells. At least that's the common knowledge that we're seeing from all of our peers around and from our engineering team. So we're recommending to proceed with this with double S in the amount of $3.4 million.
Okay, and we're looking for grants to support that. Congressman Guest has been very beneficial to us for some of our water and wastewater requests.
We have, yes, ma'am, and we put in a request with Alderman Guest through the STAG program for actually well number 10, which is the next one. Some of those grant projects are multiple years to go through the process and to get the funding. This is something that we want to go ahead with relatively quickly. Not, it's not an emergency, but we want to get it done pretty soon. So that is kind of the strategy right now, is to pursue funding for that next well with grant funding.
Okay, hold on, Sister.
And this one you intend to fund
Through the bonds.
bonds,
Yes,
okay.
Which, the STAG grant business kind of brings me, where are we on the STAG grant that we got for the Bluefield area?
That is moving along, Mary.
At a snail's pace,
It is
obviously.
at a snail's pace, and part of the reason why is the STAG project is very, very new, and so this is one of the first ones that they've done. So we've kind of been charting the course with EPA as we've been going through it. I anticipate that we'll start design on that. William's actually here. We're about ready to start design. I think we're through with all the initial preliminary work, which is quite a lot because it's federal dollars. So I would anticipate, what would you say timeline-wise? I hate to put you on the spot.
It's really gonna depend on getting an executed grant agreement from EPA. You're at that stage. I think we're just waiting on maybe a few kind of technical things on EPA side. Grant agreement should come to the city hopefully within the next 30 to 60 days. And then once that's signed, we can execute and move forward with.
Hopefully have the design done by, third quarter, fourth
Yeah.
quarter of this year, with construction starting shortly thereafter. It's a relatively simple project.
It is, which is kind of why I was surprised that it's just taken quite so long to get it going.
Yeah, the process has been the challenge
Yeah, okay.
in kind of navigating that.
Okay, all right. William, were you here in support of John's, the Class 1 rubbish site issue at all?
No, not.
Okay, I didn't mean to ignore you, because I just took it that since John wasn't here, but I thought maybe you might have been, so.
No, that's fine. I was here for the well and water treatment plant.
Okay, all right, thank you. Alderman Moore?
Yeah, so we're at Double S Inc. I know it's the lowest, but is it the lowest and the best quote? And you know why I'm asking that question, I think.
William has done some reference checks on them. They've been in business around 10 years or so, drilling wells. They were also the low bid for the Clayton Village well, which is under construction now. So they, I think they probably gave a competitive bid because they were already in the area.
Okay.
The other bids that we got were from Thompson, Water Service,
And Mid-South.
Donald Smith.
and Donald Smith. So
Well-
the bids were pretty
Reasonable, like,
yeah,
and
they were
with
pretty-
each other,
pretty
yeah,
tight
they were.
together. So I think that we're recommending Double S. This is not going to be the first rodeo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is not us, but you've got my interest peaked, because I had somebody ask me the other day, was Clayton Village underway with their water tower? But they're doing is the well gonna be co-located with the water tower?
I think they're on the same site.
Okay.
Or they will be.
Okay, and so they are actually moving forward?
We know for a
With
fact
the well.
they're moving forward with their well.
Okay.
They have the same contractor, they're under contract. I don't know about the tank.
Okay. all
We've
right.
talked with Double S, and that's how we got the information about that, is they shared that they were the low bidder, and they're doing the work. And I want to say that they're doing it this summer and the fall.
Well, I just think it's wonderful, because, that'll allow that area to grow in ways that have been impacting us as a part of that annex
Right.
territory. So I'm delighted that if.
I don't know the details of the size of the well and the status of the tank, but I do know that Double S is doing it.
Okay, is Neil Schaefer overseeing the engineering associated with that
Or,
for Clayton Village?
No,
no, we do not work with them.
Who's their engineer?
it's Cook Cobbin. now.
Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize, it was Cook Common. Okay,
Yeah.
just trying to get as much information as I can get to be excited about it. Okay, consent for the, all right, thank you, sorry, kind of lingered on that one for a while, didn't we? Engineering services agreement with AG Utilities, and that is now Atwill Gent, they've changed their name, is that correct?
They've merged with another company. This is just a housekeeping to modify their engineering services agreement with their new company.
The new name? Okay, all right, consent for that one? All right, thank you. And last but not least, task order number 6, amendment number 1 for the professional services for the SRF.
So task order number 6 is to do the design for the water treatment plant that will
Okay.
actually serve well number 9. And we're making good progress on that project. We've been in the design. I'd say we're pretty far along on it. The way that you want to sequence the well in the water treatment plant is you want to dig the well and understand the water quality first, and then finalize your design based on what you actually receive out of that well. Because believe it or not, even wells in different parts of town, even from here or from the location where this well will be at the op center to our nearest well, which is at Curry, there may be differences in the amount of different amount of iron, for example, that the water has there.
So this is a test well?
It'll do a test well, and then we'll finalize the water treatment plant. So in other words, we have a little bit of time.
Okay.
And we're proposing to apply for some drinking water state revolving loan funds, which is a low interest loan through the EPA for the water treatment plant. So the process is you have to actually submit your project and get it scored and rated. And if you rate high enough, you become eligible for that funds.
And you said there was a possibility for a loan forgiveness on that?
There is on some of the SRS, but we talked with the director of this funding.
We aren't it?
They don't feel like there will be much loan forgiveness with this round.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask. Yes, ma'am.
And the water treatment plant, this will be for well 9, but 10 as well.
Right.
Because this one plant will be for both of the wells that we're drilling, correct?
It will, yes, the building will be.
Be for both.
Be for both,
Okay.
but for this project, we will probably only build one filter and the building that would accommodate both.
Okay.
Yeah. So there will be some additional work that will need to be done when we build well 10, but it will be
Easy compared
10-15% of this cost.
So they're gonna be in close proximity to one another?
That's our current plan.
Anticipated to be.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Right. One on the op center, if you know this big triangle, so we'll have 2 wells on either end of them. They're separated by about 800 to 1,000 feet, which is acceptable. But again, that's, who knows, 10, 15 years down the road, or sooner, we can get some funding.
Okay, all right. Consent for that one?
Consent.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
And that takes us to the end of our agenda, which is, got lots of stuff going on in it. So, thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. And we have a tournament going on this weekend, softball tournament.
Colby Huffman's fundraiser
And
tonight.
Colby Huffman's fundraiser tonight, Rick's, that's right, starts at 5. So, have a wonderful weekend.